Okay, so tonight we are talking about Britney Watts and abortion because this is not only ridiculously strange, this is kind of this is why I have been talking about like the lack of safety for black women in America. So there's this woman, Britney Watts. She has a miscarriage and she has a miscarriage at home. So this means she was pregnant. I think she was 22 weeks or something. She had gone to the doctor multiple times. They found the fetus to be unviable. So that means the fetus was dead in her womb. But obviously, so the fetus has to come out. I'm calling it a fetus because that's what it is. Um. Anyway, so she um poos the baby out in the toilet. Okay, and then and I guess some nurse calls the hospital. So she had a whole bunch of abdominal bleeding. And then I guess she checked herself in, checked herself out. She was trying to be at the hospital when this miscarriage happened. It didn't happen that way. It ended up happening at home. Anyway, so police seemed to break into her home, crack her toilet open to collect the fetus. So now she's facing felony charges of what is it called? Endangerment of a corpse. Felony charges. So like she's probably gonna go to jail because this is America and everyone hates black people here. So this black woman is going to jail for endangering a dead fetus that was dead in the toilet. Here's the thing. I thought Weiss did a really great job of covering this whole abortion conversation because yes, if you are, 6 months pregnant or something, I'm not gonna sit here saying like you don't have a baby in your stomach. I feel like at that point, yes, you have a whole baby and that is a life. But I still, I'm sorry, but I just feel like no matter how far along you are, it is up to the woman to choose whether she wants to birth that child or not, simply because like I feel like some people in America, like here's something, all the conservatives seem to be like up in arms about some children's television show with like two gay dads and a baby. And I actually know a guy who right now he's like a gay guy and he is like he purchased like a surrogate mother, so he's like having he is paying something like $60,000 to have a woman like have a child for him. So he's doing it all this like IVF sort of like way. And like I feel like way more gay couples will do that, but at the same time, here's where I want black women to just be like aware. Um it it isn't that like it seems like in this country at least some white people seem to be like okay with black children, black people, as long as like they personally feel like invested in the narrative. Oh, this is my stepchild. Oh, this is my like all the other groups seem to be like, oh, it's okay if you're a black person, if you are like if you have white relatives, if in some way you are like positively affiliated with a white person, it's all good. Like we like you or something, but that just isn't the case. Like most black people are going to grow up black. That doesn't mean that they're going to be like no, percolator, stop. All my kittens are named after coffee. Anyway, hey, hey there. Hey, Fluffy, cut it out. Hey, stop it. No, stay away from the cord. Um, do you want to go to the cat tree? Hey, no, no. I'm so sorry. Okay, so where was I at? Okay, yeah. So here's another thing, and I'm just gonna. This is kind of gonna go full circle in a way, and I just want to make some points here. Now, the reason I'm taking my precious time, okay, like to talk about some of these issues, is because there's at least a small percentage of like black women who are on the channel. I think probably a majority of the women here are not black, unfortunately, but like the ones who are, I'm talking to you. And the ones who are not, if you have black female friends, you don't have to share my video with them, even though I would love it if you do. I want you to understand this perspective. So Tucker Carlson made this point, and actually, like, all conservatives who are pro-life, which is, if you're Christian, then you're probably pro-life, right? So they all come around to make the same point, and it's true. I've made many videos about this. The abortion rate in the black community is, it's really bad. Like, black women are aborting black babies at this astronomical rate, and there's reasons for this. It isn't that like black women hate children more. It's black women are put in danger by being in mothering situations with the men in this community. Black men are socioeconomically like worse off than other groups, and because they don't have that socioeconomic stability, they don't have the ability to like raise a child or protect a woman. So that leaves all of the burden for protection for the woman of herself and her child on her. And it's possible that she's going to have to deal with like additional abuse from the male, okay, and then have the financial abuse of a child, and that's just too much. And when you're weighing sort of like that horrific situation to just the simple reality of like a woman, a black woman on her own, just taking care of herself, can find peace and probably live 100 years. I mean, if she takes care of herself. Here's another thing that I'm not trying to be funny about this. People are calling things like soft life, girly, whatever. Um, like a lot of the people who are moms right now, that just because you're a mom, that doesn't mean that you're taking care of yourself. Like every person has like these requirements. Are you getting like enough nutrients? Are all of your organs okay? Like, is your blood pressure fine? Is your body weight okay? Like, are you is your emotional regulation okay? You know, are you able to like maneuver your hygiene? And things that I see a lot of, not all, but like some black women get in here and they'll put in like a really expensive weave and they'll be like, I'm fly now. Like, I don't know. Like, to me, this doesn't make sense. Like, I mean, I'm not saying that like I hate people with like weaves and tracks and straight hair and stuff. But I'm also saying like, if you're talking about, how can you say it, like your life, right? Like you, whatever hair that you have or whatever skin that you have, that's kind of the one you have. Like that's yours, and like you have to like live with that for the rest of your life, and like you have to like wake up in the morning next to someone, I mean if you choose to be with someone who's going to like appreciate you with that. I feel like that I've been in enough relationships where, you know, I've woken up next to someone. Oh, it's not my kittens. Sorry, we'll save that for another conversation. Mm, one of my kittens, I think he's refusing to. Ugh. Sorry. Yeah, so you might be in a relationship with someone where you're gonna wake up next to them, okay, every day. And I feel like that's kind of why some men start to resent their wives. Because they just look way different without like a cake face full of makeup and a whole bunch of like, when you take the track out, are you seriously that unattractive? Like, why can't you just be content with like how you look normally? Which was so funny. Like when people get on my channel and they're like, you're so unattractive. And it's just like, no, I feel like you guys are just so accustomed to seeing people who look like Nicki Minaj, and she's like almost like screaming at you saying, I am pretty! And if you don't look like that, then like all the other black people are like, yeah, she screamed at us in a rap song. And there's like nobody who's telling you anything different. So whatever. Like there's going to be that camp of people, and let them, like I said, I made another video about that. Like let them eat cake and be over there. But I know some of you will, like a very small percentage of you will find your way over here. And maybe this is like we're in it for the long haul channel. Now there was another video I saw, this woman, something Hill, Janelle Hill or something. I've seen her on other things. I feel like she was a correspondent for some news channel for a while. Here was the interesting thing about her. She made a video where she was talking about this other rapper, and I've seen him before. I think he's like a Christian rapper or something. Now, he was calling out Rick Ross, Meek Mill, and some other people because, like, I guess he had done a Christmas giveaway of some shoes, Meek Mill's shoes. And the reason that this was so like important is because like um Meek Mill has been an advocate for like social justice and criminal justice reform specifically. He like literally I think went to Congress to talk about it. He ended up going to Nigeria to talk about it. So supposedly this is something that he really cares about. And he was calling them out and saying like, why are you, he just put out a rap song I guess recently that was talking about shooting and killing someone else. And now this is another PSA for women on this channel. I don't, for some reason, there's some people from Atlanta who watch my channel, so I guess I will speak to you. Yeah, we all know that you guys are dying. Everybody knows. Like, it's not a secret. Like, if you're living in a hood right now, the ghetto, a black ghetto, wherever in the world, in America, yeah, your chances of death are very high. Like, if you make it through the year, we are all surprised. I don't, there's not actually like another thing. Like, living in the black ghetto is just a death sentence, especially for black women. I mean, I wish there was a way I could make more content that like reached those women who are like living in that place, because you have to get out. Like, if you actually want to live, you have to leave. Like, there's not another choice. Like, you have to leave. That's real. But whatever. And I feel like because actually so few black women have left, there aren't like a part of leaving is going into other parts of society that aren't like aggregated fields of black poverty. So just having some socioeconomic differences, some racial differences, and we don't really have that. If you're if you grow up in like a black ghetto sort of situation, you don't have that. So another part I thought was really funny about this conversation was Meek Mill comes, I'm sorry, Rick Ross comes back and he says, he calls out the rapper who had called these rappers out. And he's like, look, young blood, young kid, I've given out 20,000 turkeys. I've fed whole communities. I've done all of these things. Now, here's what I know. Like, Thanksgiving just passed. Christmas just passed. At restaurants, they typically have, like, what is it, a prefix meal or something where you can just go to the restaurant and then for like a flat fee, something like $100, some places, $20 or something, you can get the holiday meal and then you can eat the meal. So I'm not really sure, like, be serious, because like doesn't a turkey cost like $20 or like $30 or something at the grocery store? If you can't feed your family during Christmas, then you probably can't feed your family during the other times of year either, which is like a bigger problem. If you can't feed your family on any day of the year, you need to get off of YouTube. Now, I saw that like Fab Socialism was also, she made a whole video about this where she talked about how she's gonna go get just like a minimum wage job because she can't actually make YouTube videos anymore, just because in our community so many people are dealing with poverty, like houselessness, food insecurity. She mentioned so many things in this video, and I think I might actually make another video that's like solely dedicated to that. um but I was kind of wondering too, because like I did a whole fellowship on poverty research and I put videos about that up. I mean, I like labeled it like poverty and social justice, where I unpacked a lot of those issues. But the thing is, if you're just supporting one person, it's not, I mean, I'm not saying it's easy, because like you do have to be consistent and like go to work, and like going to work sucks, but like actually supporting one person and taking care of yourself, especially with like a lot of shared housing options, like for a while I was like thinking about ways to like cut my expenses, and maybe, I don't know, next year I might do that. Like some people had sent me messages about like, oh, I'm renting a room, do you want to like, or I have an apartment and I'm renting a room, do you want to roommate with me? People have sent me messages like that, and I was like, oh, I was gonna think about it, and I kind of started to respond, and then I was like, no, I really like being by myself. But one cool thing, like I feel like if I did get a roommate, obviously my housing costs here would be cut in half, and I could increase my food budget quite a lot. I could work way less days and focus on my writing a lot. So that's the thing. I don't know. I do have ambitions to, like, buy some property next year. So I'm not too sure, like, how those chips are going to fall. But if I do kind of feel a financial pinch, then I think I might do like a sort of like roommate situation, rent out a room. But for now, this is fine. But yeah, the thing is, like, people if he has to give out 100,000 turkeys in a community, in a neighborhood, there are so many other problems in that community, and this is a black community. He's like I'm feeding my people. We don't need Rick Ross to be God. He's not God, or any other of these other rappers. They're not God. They're not. They shouldn't really be heroes to anyone. We live in a society and an economy in capitalism, and there are jobs. So, like, if you're 16, you can go get a job at a grocery store. Then you could, like, pay for your housing and pay for your food. So I'm not sure, like, why would you need Rick Ross to buy you a turkey? I'm just wondering, like, what, how, why. Also, Rick Ross doesn't make good music. So all of it is like, I'm sorry, like, what do we need this old fat guy here for? Who is he providing utility for? I'm trying to understand. It's not clicking for me. It's just not. It ain't, the math isn't mathing. I don't know. Like, who in life, if you need Rick Ross to solve any problem for you, go to counseling. I would write down all the problems that you feel like he is solving for you, even the entertainment value. If you're like, oh, I'm just getting so much utility from these Rick Ross songs, ask what went wrong in your life. Like, where did it go wrong? Anyway, there was another part where that same rapper was talking about how rap songs contribute to violence and killing. And even Rick Ross actually, he echoed this exact same point, which I thought was funny, but it was weird. He said, there are these niggas are dying. Niggas are dying. Yes, they are. He's like, people aren't going to live till the morning. That's true. And then it's kind of like, there's no lie. So, and then I also saw another video. This is like a kind of a rant about a whole bunch of things, and it's because there's so many things that I want to talk about, but I don't have like the time really to do all of the research to make these separate videos right now. But I do want to brush on some of them and then kind of share a couple of other videos that have done better research and are more well said than I'm saying it. Some black woman, they were talking about, oh, like, black women won't get married, blah, blah, oh, all the black women, whatever they were saying, right? Here's the thing, like, there's all these stats that keep coming out. Oh, all these women are going to be, like, single and childless by 2030, whatever the year is. This is true because women have access to abortion. So, like, when people are making, if you go listen to one of these videos, the one by Bari, it includes quite a lot from the conservative class, where people kind of try to put a light on it and make people feel shameful of their abortions. But that's actually why I wrote Abortion Barbie. I'm proud of my abortions too. I'm not ashamed to, like, say, like, in the past I have participated in hookup culture. I don't feel, like, ashamed of that. And I don't care how many, like, podcast bros or whatever want to make it seem like, oh my god, the sexual revolution has made it awful for women. Blah, blah, blah. Now, the part of participating in the sexual revolution means that there's a possibility that you might get pregnant with someone who you're just like, he's not, no. He doesn't meet your requirements for what having a family requires. So instead of, like, making a big deal about it, if you're on top of your reproductive health, okay, you can simply, like, take a pill, get rid of that motherfucker, and go on with your life. No shade, no sweat. If I had a t-shirt, if I could find the bitch who was making the t-shirt, like, I'm proud of my abortion, I'd wear it too. Like, what? Like, kitty and puppy power, okay? Like, these men, a lot of these men don't deserve life. And especially what I'm saying is, like, the culture around black male living right now is so awful. They actually kill each other. Like, I feel like probably in the next year or two, we're going to watch Blueface and one of his rivals murder him. Probably on screen. And it's going to be epic because I'm actually going to write a think piece and maybe an entire album about it because I know that that's going to happen. It's all the signs are there. My kitty is literally trying to walk away with the bag of snacks. Seriously? I mean, he's just dragging the bag of snacks just right. Okay. So he just has this bag of kitty snacks in his fucking mouth and it's just dragging it like right across the floor. Like it was gonna open. It's a zip seal. That isn't gonna open, Perk. It's not. I. Oh my god. Wow. Anyway, so what does this mean for black women? Like, what? Why am I? What? Let's roll all the way back to the abortion conversation. So you can't even start to have serious conversations around like marriage markets and motherhood when we don't have a solid economic base for like really black men, right? If we're talking about heterosexual relationships that are based in like traditional marriage and family, you need jobs, okay? You need. And then another thing that's very strange here is there seem to be a lot of these like, I don't know if they're all Gen Z, but some of them do seem to be Gen Z, and they're on here and they're living with their parents. I don't know if they did go to college or if they're taking like a gap year. There's a certain thing as a gap year, okay, but it seems like more than a year because y'all have been here for a while, and so you're not really doing anything with a job. Maybe some people are building out YouTube channels, but we don't need like every single black girl to be driving through the Starbucks drive-through and like being like a day in the life. Like we know what it's like to get Starbucks. I don't know. I guess. I don't know. Maybe the fashions are there, but I don't. I feel like because my algorithm works pretty well, and I haven't seen any black. Well, I've seen like two black girls are kind of like a really nice coffee shop aesthetic, but even then, I haven't actually seen many who are kind of doing it. But the point is, just start at the bottom of that like needs pyramid. Housing, job, food, bills, phone, safety, emotional safety, physical safety. And also, I think it's really just important for more black women to just understand like the need for abstinence and the need to understand Christian values in terms of relationships and dating at this point. Because they have rolled back like Roe v. Wade and are just on a mission to take away abortion rights. Obviously, I mean, I feel like it doesn't need to be said, but maybe it actually does. Like, many of these men do not deserve to procreate. They should not go on into the next generation. So, I think when you're even thinking about giving men access to sex at all, like, it can only be men who you feel like should go on to the next generation. Just because there's, like, a possibility that you might get pregnant and you actually can't take the risk anymore because they changed the law. Which had the like safety net, which made it kind of be like, oh, it's okay, like I could just fix it. Well, now you can't fix it, and now they'll put you in jail for like aborting the unwanted fetus anyway. So, not worth the risk. Not worth the risk. And I feel so bad for this girl Britney, but they always make an example of black women. They always, black women shall go to jail first. Anyway, that sucks, but yeah, look in the description box for affiliate links and I'll put a little blurb.